Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is February 25th, 2026. The time is 3:05 a.m. Pacific Northwest Standard. I hope you're doing well. I woke up at 2 a.m. To some folks, they're frantic, right? Because they got some stuff happening. They're losing their status because the true divine are here. The true royal ones are here, and they can see very clearly that the entities in these positions are not of the genetic line that these positions are supposed to be held by. So we got some transitioning and some shifts going on. However, these individuals appear to be sort of desperate to harvest those same identities and energies that they had previously ensnared as prisoners of war, but they've been emancipated, and so they're having difficulties. They're having discussions that if they transfer you, whatever that means, then they transfer everything that you're connected to, which is source, right? And we got some nasty entities out there like Satan or whatever that thinks that if they can consume you or capture you or whatever, that they will be able to go up into these soprano upper dimensions and then make war. That's what I've heard. And they're like worried about it because if they transfer you to wherever they want to transfer you, then everyone that comes will come with you, your root and your crown, the lion and the jaguar. So they're concerned about this. They need to separate you from, they need to separate the root from the crown. And they're trying to do this midnight like sandpapering of the bones to bring agitation to the spirit while you're sleeping, so that they can harvest that, right? So they're real nasty creatures, portraying themselves as upstanding divinity. So let's see what's happening, because we got some nasties out there that are desperate to regain their status of privilege and identity, but they've lost it. And the spirit, the greater beings of the universe or whatever, can see plainly that we've got a lot of trickery and fraud going on, a lot of theft and thievery, a lot of intentional suffering put upon the people so that they can transfer that reward for the suffering to themselves. And I feel that's what the cut in the finger is. Cut the finger, eat the pain. That's because they first agitate the soul or the spirit that they're harvesting, and then they claim it by claiming the pain of it, right? At least that's what the intuitive messaging is telling me this morning. I could be wrong because I don't know these rituals. So anyhow, planetary system, we got some stuff happening. We got some folks leaving. They're getting kicked out of their status of privilege because it was a stolen position anyway. They did some kind of a magical sacrifice and transfer. And there's a lot of entities out there that are not truly the genetic identity that they claim to be. If you were to do genetic testing, or if the Star Nation soul tribe of the upper zodiacs and all of that, the soul nation, the Star Nation soul tribe of whatever, were to check the identity of the individual, they would know very clearly that it's not their family member that's residing in that position. Like the wealth had been harvested by a fraud. So we got some folks that are being evicted from these positions, however that's going to look. And I suppose that's the truth. We got a new beginning, and judgment is being called, and we're getting a new beginning. This is a reset. And the Queen of Pentacles has the freaking pentacles and public recognition, because she's the responsible one. You know, you got these nasties out there, according to the research. So you got these nasties out there, these masculines, who've been harvesting the divine feminine's eternal life out of the womb of power, and they've been trading it in for shekels with the devil. Made a deal with the devil. They actually come right out and say it. They admit it, but everybody thinks it's just kind of like a joke. But no, it's very, very serious. An attempt to harvest true stars and then we'll flip it, right? Somebody made a deal with the devil. They were told that this was the way to go and that this was going to work, but it turned out to be false. So what's going on in the central energy regarding this transfer of wealth and all of that? So we've got the Seven of Wands in the reverse. Somebody is exhausted and overwhelmed. They're not in control. It's like they're not going to be able to persevere through whatever this challenge is. In the challenge position. Ooh. Temperance in the reverse. They could be going to extremes. They're overwhelmed. They don't have temperance energy. They've been disconnected from the earth angels, from those that carry the golden light of the sun, that which they have been harvesting for a long, long time and pretending to be. They've lost connection with their earth angel. They're out of alignment. They've been kind of putting the burden of instability upon the populace and forcing them to carry that burden, and then convincing them that it's because they're sinners, right? In the subconscious, ooh, we got the truth. So they're thinking about the truth. There's mental clarity regarding what has been going on here. These people who have been residing in positions of privilege are just really good magicians transferring wealth. In the recent past, divine love, 10 of Cups. So you've got total love and support, and with your crown and your root, and you've got these midnight harvesters that are out of balance. They want to harvest your stability. They see, now you've been called the planetary stabilizer, and you've got some folks out there that have been mimicking you, and they're unable to stabilize any effing thing. They've lost connection to you. But they're out there in the midnight hour trying to agitate your spirit so that they can siphon the agitation and then claim that energy as you, so that they can then link it somehow with a magical illusion and then siphon your reward through that shared pain. And that's, I think, how this is done, this stupid pain shit, this cut of the finger. Because like what they were doing, it felt just like the sandpaper. But I know what it is now because it's been over 20 years and they've tried everything in the book probably. Intentions and expectations. So you got, yeah, you're gonna recuperate from those beings that have been siphoning out of the world, pretending that they are stable and a stabilizer when they are simply a siphoner of those people who bring temperance to things. So people who are tempered, they come in, they agitate them, and then they siphon that temperance energy out of them. And then they're left for a few days to regain temperance. Because they knock you off kind of out of your temperance energy just a little bit. They agitate it, and then they siphon that agitation while you bring it back into balance. And the thing about it is that these are the entities that are running around in fancy dresses, getting all freaking paparazzi'd, and everybody thinks they're the most beautiful, sweet thing in the world, and it's just so sick that they're out there. They're completely imbalanced, and they're out there doing magic tricks to glamour people. And it's like, just because you're beautiful on the outside doesn't mean there isn't rot on the inside. in the near future. Page of Pentacles. Somebody may want to start something, begin a new business, invest in something. Whoa. In the lenses being looked through, we got the Hanged Man reversed. So they're trying to stall something. They want to invest in something. They want to, they have a fear of sacrifice. They want to stall it. They want to get out of it. They're trying to like, hey, you know, let me be a partner. Let me collaborate. But I think that's what we got us in trouble the last time, is that we've let some folks in and offered the opportunity to collaborate. But collaboration was not collaboration. Collaboration in their mind was competition. And even though we were doing our best to help them along, they were doing their best to destroy us. Using proper words of collaboration and then narcissistic techniques to imbalance the mental and the energy body of people, and then to destabilize them and then tell the world that they're unstable. They've mastered these illusions and these traditional manipulations. In the environment, we've got the Six of Cups in the reverse. Moving forward, you're not going to repeat the past. There's nothing to remember. There's nothing to hold on to. You're releasing the past. You're moving forward. Page of Pentacles wants to invest in your future. Hopes and fears. Well, these are all in the upright, but this came out in the reverse. They're not getting a life of luxury. And I've heard these ones talking about a life of luxury a few times recently. So they're losing their life of luxury because it's going into the proper hands. The true stabilizers of the planet. The ones who've actually suffered greatly and then brought that energy into stabilization. You got folks out there trying to agitate your bones in the sleep in the time, and they're cutting themselves or swallowing the pain, and they're trying to cast the illusion that they suffered your pain by creating some kind of a connection through this agitation of the spirit. That, at least that was what spirit was giving me intuitively when I was woken at like, I think 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So they're smug, they're indulgent, they're not getting your life of luxury. You're not repeating the past. You don't want to bring the past forward. You are leaving it behind. And the outcome is a celebration here. They want to get in your digs. They want to cash your paycheck. They want to take credit for your lifetimes of suffering with a little cut. They want to just make a little pain connection and then claim all of your life's suffering and your rewards by binding themselves to your pain and your reward through this magical midnight bone sandpapering event. They're so nice, so royal and worthy. We got this, somebody's feeling very passionate. Knight of Wands. Somebody may want to come forward. There's a Knight of Wands that may want to come forward because a Queen of Wands has an Ace of Pentacles. So they might come in. Oh, look, man. You've got the Knight of Wands, a Knight of Cups. Knight of Wands, Nine of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. You got all these knights, and you've got this page here. So you got 3 knights and a page. All coming in, wanting to invest, wanting to love. Whoa. But we've got, what? There's a King of Cups devil. Codependent King of Cups. Their leader could be a King of Cups, somebody who walks in that energy, but they're not. This King of Cups is a devil. Lover boy who doesn't actually have any love in them. So the devil is masquerading as a King of Cups, coming after this Emperor's 10 of Pentacles that he's worked very, very hard for by dealing with these abusive people. He's about ready to leave home. And we've got Queen of Pentacles calling judgment. Folks are afraid, or it could be that your new beginning is hidden. And the Hierophant is here with the King of Wands and the High Priestess. So King of Wands is overcoming challenges connected to Hierophant and High Priestess. So he's got divine wisdom. And there's death and abandonment. So he's being guided by the High Priestess and the Hierophant to disconnect and bring an ending to this scenario. Yeah. So that's good. We've got the High Priestess and the Hierophant present here, assisting this King of Wands, or in the King of Wands energy together. Whackity whack whack whack, you know, being with their team and stuff, making changes. So 7 of Wands in the reverse, somebody is overwhelmed. So somebody's overwhelmed. They're not able to maintain control. They're being kicked out. They're being displaced because they were committed to making certain that suns and stars did not produce offspring. Their confidence is destroyed. They're being displaced because of their, they've been chemically castrating people, as well as all kinds of other ways to unalive the potentiality of life coming from divine beings. And unfortunately, you know, there's been hypnotism over the minds of people, at least in the United States, according to Spirit. They've been doing mental magic hypnotism on everybody. And they were being driven into these programs and then blamed for getting involved in them, right? So they're challenged. They are a scavenger. They're completely out of balance. They're a scavenger. They have been scavenging the earth angelic merchandise, their temperance energy, their love energy, their gifts. They were committed to you not having any children, Angel. They're being displaced because the truth is out. The truth is seen. They had an ulterior agenda. They were in there apparently guiding people, but they were committed to ending the bloodlines of the earth angels. They were scavenging them and their whims and their sacral. It kind of came out in the reverse. We got preparation in the reverse. So it's like we got the truth. It could be that they're not prepared for the truth. It's out here. They didn't prepare for this. They thought for sure that their magical illusions and their magical deaths and all of that stuff would gain them the reward like it has for thousands of years. They're not prepared. The truth is here and it's messing everything up. They're being displaced because they were committed to ending the bloodline of the earth angels by scavenging their bloodline. by ending the lives of anyone attempting to come through the womb of power, the eternal life portal. 10 of Cups, divine love. This is the end of this. You're totally loved and supported. Totally loved and supported. You have grown. And you're bringing growth to this community. You're sharing your growth with your partner. You've got rest and relaxation. You're recuperating from this magnificent nastiness. Somebody is not prepared for the truth. You're going to rest. It's like you're cashing. And this, I don't like this word because I don't know how exactly it's supposed to be said. Planting seeds. Planting seeds. So right now, it's like you are making plans for the future. You're planting seeds, or you are relaxing, making plans for the future, coming up with the ideas of what it is you wish to create, what it is you want to start, birth, a business or whatever. You've got some seeds rolling around in your mind. You're sitting here recuperating from this crazy scenario. Page of Pentacles is here, wanting a financial opportunity, develop some skills. They want to invest in whatever you got going on. Night. Page of Pentacles is a child of the night, one of those lost boys or whatever. They've got a financial opportunity with the night. They're trying to manifest at night. This could be one of those midnight gremlins. They worked ambitiously in the night to manifest. This is a midnight magician. They're trying to get out of being let go. They want to attach themselves to you through some kind of magic trick. They lack control. Watched. Observation. They're out of control. They're being watched. They're being watched. We've got nostalgia in the past. You're moving forward. You're not repeating the past. You're not welcoming the past. Wrath. Wrath. Leaving home. Leaving home. They got to go, what? Deal with the wrath of God for what they have done here. We're not repeating the past. We're not sharing any memories. And you know, some people say, if you don't know your history, And here's the thing, you know, for thousands of years, we've got a lot of religious hate. They've been hurting each other, sacrificing each other for thousands of years because they can't let it go. They refuse to let it go. And they're sitting there insisting that if you don't know your history, you can't come up with solutions, and it's got to be dark because the light can't fix shit, right? Well, the light can. It's like, you know, there's no separation between light and dark, but there is temperance and a lack of it. There is those who are lacking temperance and they're scavenging everybody because they're not this. They don't want to be that. They hate the light. So now they get to go deal with the wrath because we're moving forward with wrath. Somebody has to leave home. They're not happy. There's wrath for what they did in the past. They're not getting anything. No more life of luxury. They've stolen it from, and then they've stolen it from the actual suns and stars, and then they have defiled them and degraded them and abused them, calling them peasants. These arrogant, narcissistic, mother-hating hoarders of other people's life force and soul value, their opportunity to increase and succeed, they hold them stagnated in a scarcity. Not this time. Now they're getting wrath because they're not going to be able to do what they did in the past. Oh, the F no, you're going to get wrath this time. There's no life of luxury. They're trying to irritate people's spirits in the sleep state right now. They're trying to get a harvest. They want to transfer. I don't know what the hell that means. Transfer. I mean, there is wealth and all of that, but they're not talking about material wealth. They're talking about vital force and the protection and the source connections and the root connections, all of that stuff. That if they transfer you, they transfer the entirety of the tree. And they're really upset because at one point they had the root separated from the crown and it was real easy to siphon. But not anymore. Now they're getting wrath because the crown and the root have been reunited. Mischief. So they're not getting the life of luxury because they've been pecking the cat. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. They stole the life of luxury from the true royal. They took it from the daughter of the lion who was here to help them, and now they're not going to get shit because the true golden is the deepest gold, and everybody knows who they are. And these frauds are well known. There's a celebration going on here. These nasty people can't take from you anymore. They're frauds. They're committed to making certain that your bloodline, Earth Angel, doesn't exist any longer. They've been scavenging the wealth out of your family. They're going to be in big damn trouble, is what they are, for their stupid trickery. They're resisting this change. So you could have resisted the history of what they did to you, curious, stalking you in your sacred space, in the sacred space of Mother Nature. Gifts. So it could be that those who have been influencing people in the negative with gifts are being released because those gifts never belonged to them anyway. What they did to gain abundance has been exposed, and they're in grief. They were playing around, they gambled, and now they're at risk because you gained your freedom. And everybody in these upper spaces now knows that all of these frauds, these little pods of people representing themselves as, but they're wearing a mask. They replaced the true. They claimed that they were more worthy of your inheritance because their magic was better or whatever, because you don't do magic. Your source connected. But they think this dark, baneful magic is more powerful or more effective than what the earth angelics do, what God does. So there's going to be a complete separation. They chose that darker aspect. They chose this lustful. There was somebody out there talking about they're tired of the lawmaker and all they got to do is pop, and dude was helping them. And I'm like, are you effing? This is supposed to be sacred connection, beautiful, honorable, sacred connection, powerful, potent, But they're out there just doing sex magic with dude, you know. Hey, dude, you want to go get it on? I gotta pop, baby, because I got some magic tricks to do. And it's like, that's what they're doing out there. They're receiving a warning because you survived their mimicry. It's obvious because you survived. You can point out, or every copycat or pretender in the community is seen. You've got a team of golden nuggets here that have the insight, or perhaps there's a team of golden nuggets, so there's teamwork. Everybody, so they say that, what did they say? There was an insider bringing about a collapse or a change to the system. So you survived, you're identifiable, and you've got a team. These ones are afraid. You're fighting. Everything's in upheaval and you're fighting. They didn't think you were going to fight. They thought you were just going to be that sweet little girl you were 4,000 years ago, and they could just F you up over and over and over again. And you decided to say, you know what, F the F off. There's distraction. They could be distracted. Like somebody may be communicating with them now. You are protected. And so are the eggs, the children, your creations, from this upside down perspective. You know, they had anticipation of dominating you from the distance, and that's what they've been doing. Self-interested, feeding on people that are alone or single in the territory. They say that if you're single, that they can do whatever they want with you. These assholes who have this ability, this knowledge, think that they have the right to harvest off of a single person in their home that's innocent, pure. They don't even know magic is being done on this world. And they're harvesting them. We're going in a new damn direction. We're getting a new routine. Or maybe you are lucky because you discovered the routine of these ghosts. You are the anomaly and you are flying high above the illusion. Why? Because you maintained your balance, and whatever magic they're trying to do to you is going to roll right off. It won't stick. It won't provide them any kind of benefit whatsoever, except for maybe it'll give them a mark against them or something, because it's going to bounce back. So whatever they wanted to take from you will be taken from them. Maybe. Whatever they wanted done to you, or whatever they've been doing to you, will be done to them. It's sick, man. I mean, it's 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they start rubbing buns with freaking sandpaper to irritate the spirit of people. This is what they feel is worthy of a freaking status of privilege. This is what they do to the people, and they think it deserves some kind of leadership role. They smile in the face and they get these stupid privileges, like being carried on the backs of a different race of people, like they're some kind of special being. And they're all frauds, man. Their genetics don't even match the position they're wielding. So, somebody's, their confidence is destroyed. They're exhausted. We got across the distances, just us, you and your person here, got some Casanova and their Jezebel are caught in tensions, and the walls are closing in. Casanova is about ready to be separated from his person, and you and your person are about ready to come in into union. They are challenged because they lack temperance. They got disconnected from the temperance angel because they were scavenging them. Infidelity. They were scavenging the purity of the beautiful angels with this deeply insulting sexual deviancy. Ace of Swords, they're not prepared. They are not prepared. The truth is, they're not prepared. They are not prepared for the positions that they wield. They don't have the roots, the stability. All they have is glamour and, you know, fancy clothes and paparazzi spinning a story. The truth is, they're not prepared for these upper dimensional spaces and privileges. They're scavengers of purity. They're not faithful. They got sexual deviancy. They play with other people's intimate essence, their energy. So you've got, in the recent past, it could be that you've come into divine love, or this is what's coming. We've got, you've grown. You've risen above all this stuff. You've got this heart bond. And they're here with you across the distances. So whether it's not in the 3D, it looks like, because this is out in space. So you could be together in another dimensional space. You could be together in the dream space, building something together with your heart bond. I don't know. There's a full reset, and I don't know what that means. If it's going to be just politically or structurally, you know, or if the world is actually going to turn to mud and everything's going to get drowned again. I don't know. It's going to be a big shift. Your channel is being promoted. I look at this like you're channeling so you're a beautiful, sensitive instrument divine, a transmitter receiver of the upper source connections. You're meant to receive these higher wisdoms and then manifest them in the world. But you've got this asshole here that's been scavenging the womb of purity, and they've been stealing the messages of the earth angels and then interpreting them. But since the messaging was never theirs, they interpreted it with their ego, and they misinterpreted it because the messaging was never for them. They just wanted to pretend that they were source connected and wise and all of that, but they're just a scavenger. So your channel is being promoted. It could be that your connection with your person is being promoted or increased. Your signal is getting stronger, your telepathic signal. We've got the Four of Swords here. So you're resting, you're relaxing, and you're planting your seeds. You're starting to, like, what is it I want to do with my future? Where are we going to go? What seeds am I going to plant? What's my business idea? We've got loneliness. Somebody might be lonely. Distant twin flame fuels your spiritual journey and inner growth. Solo venture reveals hidden truths and personal growth. Now, it could be that they are still separated from you because they are apparently across the distances. It's like I've been picking up that you were separated. These twin flames were separated by some kind of a parallel dimensional space that was separated by like a mirror or something. So you could be planting seeds with your twin flame. They could be guiding you as to what seeds to plant because you're here in this bond. We've got a Page of Pentacles. They could be working in the night. They could have a nighttime job, or they could be working with these midnight gremlins. They invested in death. prison. They're going to prison. Oh, so this page, or these younger, this could be micro, macro. I speak in micro, but this is a macro planetary kind of a collective thing. So we've got this page, these youngers or whoever, these immature people who were making investments in the night, scavenging the wealth or the stability out of earth angels by this stupid deviancy. So they were working and now they're going to prison. There are consequences that are severe and long-lasting. Disregard for rules disrupts order and invites conflict, and there was plenty of it. There are hidden legal dangers that threaten their peace. They got to go push that love up that mountain, and then they got to get kicked off and kicked off and kicked off, and they got to go work for it now. They got to go work real hard to pay back everything that they've stolen, and then they have to go through the impossible path and then graduate it to earn what it is they have been stealing. It's not going to happen. They're really angry. They believe that they should be able to just take from you, that they should be able to force you to spend your hard work, effort, and serve them, give them charity when they hate you. They don't want to collaborate. They want to compete and then dominate. There's no solution in that. If they're not willing to actually become the frequency that they want to steal from the earth angel and pretend to be, then there's no reason for them being connected, the earth angels and these people of the night. There's no reason for connection. They have no desire to do the work and become what it is they're so envious of. It could be that they don't feel they are capable. It could be that they really lack confidence in their ability to become something worthy. And that's why they're so damn jealous, because they have no faith in themselves. They're getting an ultimatum. This is a reset. They're going to prison for making people push that love up the hill by themselves and then kicking them off. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to go through the process and the pain of it. They lack control. They don't want to be let go, but they haven't earned a position here. They were trying to take it through brutality and deceit. Numbness. They're numb. They could be drinking themselves. They could be feeling numb. Yeah. They're losing touch with their true self. They've been using substances. They're observed. So they're being watched. They don't know what to do. They're being observed. They're drinking. In the environment, we got Six of Cups in the reverse, and we've got Wrath. Somebody wants forgiveness. They got to leave home. They got to leave you alone. They're getting wrath because they abandoned you in the past. And they drove you. They used you. They scavenged your womb, the womb of the temperance angel. They pulled all of your temperance energy out, left you in instability, scavenged your beautiful stabilizer energy. They were harvesting the womb of the earth angels. They call it eternal life. Escape. They want to escape. You're leaving home. We've got wrath. Somebody is being crushed by the burdens of reality. They got to leave home. They're receiving wrath. They want to escape. 9 of Cups in the reverse. They indulged. They were gluttonous in consuming and causing chaos in the life of the cat, Lyra. The Lyrans. So this is a tribal war. They were fighting with the nation of Lyra. We've got a celebration. So they're not getting a life of luxury. They're indulgent. They indulged in mischief. They didn't want to collaborate. They didn't want to build or create or love or be honest or authentic. They just wanted to peck, 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 and take. But you have a celebration here. So they indulged in mischief and celebrating. But we've got a secret weapon. It could be that there's a celebration because there's a secret weapon. Because you gave love with an open heart while they were pecking and taken from you, you stayed harmonious and balanced. There's a secret weapon. You could be the secret weapon. It's a quietly deadly strike. I don't know. I thought it was going to happen already, but maybe it's happening over and over and over again. Or maybe the sun is about ready to release some big EMP or something. I haven't been really watching that, so I don't know. For sure, I haven't been watching space weather for a while. So we got this. There's a celebration here. And we got trickery. So we've got a celebration. The community is celebrating because what? You've exposed the trickery of marriage contracts. You exposed the codependency and the conflict that these masculines and their replacements were bringing to the world. They shall not step on this new family tree. They shall not interfere in this commitment. We are very committed to protecting the family tree for many generations to come. They will not be stepping on the ground of this family. They got to take their feet off the soil. So they made an unfair assessment of you. It could be that they're trying to shred these digital whispers, these false videos of those people that they contracted with and then threw the love in the trash in order to gain money from somebody's twin flame. They were consuming the life force of the earth angelics, these twin flames. Dressing up other people in the face and the energy and then causing havoc and pain for their twin flame. Rat bastards. They're gonna, look, they were warned and now they're gonna get a fatal blow. Mr. Rich, Mr. Sudden Wealth missed the deadline for their stupid small offering. Missed the deadline for the gift exchange. They didn't get it and they're not gonna get it. There won't be transferring what God gave to the people this time. This is a complete reset. They're not going to go claim the inheritance, the sacred, holy inheritance that God gave those people who have chosen him and her, the mother, and who have been chosen by them. They're distracted by petty gains. They were watching you. Casanova is getting look, you're getting an unexpected surprise. You're getting an unexpected surprise. But Casanova was busy being a Casanova and they didn't see your unexpected surprise. You got married. Your oath. You were seeking help. It looks like danger is approaching, or maybe the false flame is seeking help because you're seen as high honor. You've received multiple medals of high honor from various clans. And that's bad news for Mr. Push Their contracted person who did all the work to push that love up the mountain. They kicked her off the mountain and took it for themselves, claiming that they were the loving one, they were the responsible one, they were the ones that deserved everything, while they were prostituting everybody that was pushing the love up the mountain for them, loving them, trying to give them a chance. Now they got bad news. They were spreading rumors, lots of malicious shit. This is somebody wearing the energy of a feminine that they harvested. And then they hired all these feminines to lie and manipulate and create rumors so that they could try to destroy the one that belonged to the mask. Guidance from above. You are receiving guidance from above. Your connection is open and you have clarity about the frauds that were mimicking the value of earth angels by harvesting them. They're beginning to malfunction because they don't have the energy. You are entering into your destiny. You and your twin are together, a passionate love, a strong desire, strong, unbreakable bond. And they're, yeah. And your foes are like trapped. It could be your destiny. Like there's no exit for your destiny. Like you're locked in. You broke through and you locked in. They cannot kick you out of your destiny. They cannot get you out. They cannot move you out. No magic trick, no effing nothing is going to get it. They said they will never take anything from you again. And God said you're never going to give anything back to them again. You broke through. You were the gift and you got this good family out there that these entities are trying to separate you from. They want to destroy the tree. They want to separate the root from the crown once more. Because they need a lifesaver. They're going under for their routine that they did. All the magic tricks that they did, they can't undo them. It's irreversible and they're going under. It's pulling them down. Little Mr. Ease and Grace sitting there with his little teddy bear making a quick gain, a quick freaking buck. You're getting a new beginning and they are overloaded. Third party puppetry that was siphoning off of you is crying now. They gambled you. They thought that you were going to be drunk and all of that. But you gained clarity. You chose sobriety. You said no to alcohol. You said no to drugs. You said no to effing up your mind and being irresponsible. And now you are saying no to this bullshit because digital detox, the AI system or whatever this was, that thought that they were superior to the organic original is going down. There's an unexpected event. The EMP, like the sun is going to set something off. It's going to there's going to be like a massive something or other. And I don't know, there's like a transfer. They're like these religious folks, they got their technology, their particle event, their beaming up Scotty shit, their CERN or whatever they do to latch onto frequency and transfer it, right? Now, I don't know if they're transferring soul value, if they're transferring the entire flesh suit, if they're transferring the spirit and soul into another space or frequency. I don't know, but there's supposed to be like a whole transfer. This curator has been talking about 60%. Now, I don't know if they are harvesting 60% or if the EMP is going to take out folks that have augmented with AI. I don't know. You're fiercely independent and you are reaching out first because, look, You look, so you're reaching out first. You're fiercely independent. You did all this shit alone, and you had this Casanova. So you yielded to the shit that there's the manipulation. You were trapped and manipulated by this entity calling itself a man. But you're not weak. It could be that you hid for a while, and that God pulled you out at the proper time. Could have been a couple years ago or whatever. Yeah, because they worshipped money. They were stealing your wealth, your savings, your Star Nation soul tribes, your trees' wealth, the crown and the root. They separated because they're a bark beetle, so they kind of separated the tree. They destroyed the, if you destroy the bark on the tree, then the tree dies. The bridge is destroyed, and that's what they did. They're being condemned for peeping, for astral projecting, for spying, for walking around unseen in people's homes, like they still are. Your power lies in patience. You're the trump card. You're the one that they didn't see coming. You're the one that they thought they were going to be able to keep away forever because they had defiled your twin flames so badly. They had defiled your twin flame so badly. They got off on it. They're getting an ultimatum. Heartbreak, ashamed. They're heartbroken and ashamed for how they treated romance. They got romance. Why? They were having sex with people that they planned on sticking a knife and sacrificing to the devil. They didn't love. They were having sex with their enemy. How shameful, man. Under pressure, sweet talking, not happy with this love spell. Oh, there's happily singles are getting some karma because you are turning your back, and they're drinking because this is like, what? Yeah, pain, cheating, deception, betrayal, infidelity, lying, deceit. Vile behavior. They're defiled and degraded in their own self, and they lay that shit onto purity, and then look at purity after they've done it, and they say, that's what you are. And they take stability, and then they tell the upper courts that you're unstable. And they continue to RAP people, to traumatize the soul, to keep them in that agitated energy. And they tell the upper beings that you're incapable of stabilizing because they continuously assault the soul. And they've been getting away with this privilege because they've been consuming and then presenting themselves as stable, as they've stolen the stability out of others by abusing them in this way. They were committed to having these temperance angels not having any children. They didn't want the twin flames coming together. They wanted to eliminate this tribe, the tribe of Lyra, the Lyrans. They wanted to eliminate the life of the sun. A thug. Walls are closing in on the thug. Their Jezebel is choking them out. They have no temperance angel. They have no balance. They were scavenging the life path of pizza girls. And then ghosting them, stealing their life path, presenting themselves as freaking leaders and men, while they were deflowering the innocence and purity that was destined to be great. So they defile them, abuse them, and then tell them that they're unworthy. And then continue to defile energetically and physically and mentally, and then convince the upper dimensional supreme that they are that. And it's really terrible. The truth is that they're not prepared for the truth. They were comparing themselves to the purity of a woman. These nasty men were comparing themselves to the purity of their enemy, females, the womb of power, those who carry the portal of eternal life. And so what did they do? They created a story and said that all life came from them because they commanded the portal of eternal life. All souls must come through in order to be here. Ten of Cups, you have grown, you're in a heart bond, your channel is being promoted, your random thoughts and signs and synchronicities from the universe. Promotion, channel. So your channel is being promoted regarding Mr. My Way, Mr. Arrogant, Mr. Pride and Ego. You might be able to, you might be promoting a channel, you might be putting it on blast. We've got the Four of Swords and planting seeds with your twin flame. Your twin flame might be lonely. You might be lonely. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Too much time spent with fraudulent, soul-sucking thieves, presenting themselves as royalty. Isn't that something? So you've learned the karmic lessons of the history where they left you hanging. There was no love. There was no support. There was no nothing. You learned it all on your freaking own. You and your twin flame. You were separated and you learned your karmic lessons on your own. It could be that in the history, your twin flame may have left you. We got Page of Pentacles here. They've been manifesting in the night. Midnight Gremlin, Harvester. They're going to prison for making you push that love up the hill all by yourself, or making others push the. And look, side freaking hustle. They've been side hustling energies in the night. They've been harvesting energies in the night. They've been harvesting the love out of people. They've been putting extra burdens on people while they harvest the rewards. They're going to freaking prison. They're out of control. They've been observed and they're escaping their emotions by drinking or using some kind of a substance. Shameful. You know what's sick about it is they really wanted to command the minds. They wanted everybody to worship them, to see them as some divinity, some God, Lord G God or whatever. But they're thugs, man. And if you didn't treat them as though they had, with the ultimate respect, they tortured you or something. Shady mask wear. Shady freaking mask wear. You're being watched. They're out there drinking. They're numb. They could be numb because you've restored clarity. We're not repeating the history. You're moving forward. Somebody's living in the past. We've got wrath, escape, crushed by the burdens of reality. They want to vanish. Police station. They want to escape. There's wrath. police station. They want to escape. They want to get out. They want to be covered in somebody else's energy. They want to be covered in a divine temperance angel's energy, but they're not able to attach. They're detached from the GPS of the pizza girls, from the wombs. They're detached from the wombs of the temperance angels. They can no longer draw off of those energies and those gifts. They're not prepared for the truth. They're not getting a life of luxury because they were pulling the hair out of the cat. They were causing mischief for the tribe or the nation of Lyra. And there is a celebration here because we've got a secret weapon unseen by foes being silently and deadly released. Yeah. You don't have the secret weapon. You don't have a sex addiction. You're not out here doing sex magic. That's not your thing. You are the secret weapon, but it doesn't require this nasty, low vibrational, reckless sex with whomever. Get me to pop, bro. Woohoo! Magic, magic. Yeah. There's a celebration here regarding the trickery of contracts. So we're celebrating. We've got trickery and contracts, or contracts with a trickster. What's going on with that? Divine feminine. So there's a celebration regarding the trickery of contracts with divine feminine. They were causing relationship strain by being codependent and creating conflict for divine feminines. So, and then they were side hustling the energy. Once they got that energetic entanglement, they were creating all kinds of illusions with their magic using divine feminine's energy. Queen freaking bee. The high vibrational queen bees, man. They were targeting. They're their enemies. These masculines and their Jezebel thugs, they're freaking enemies. This freaking realm is crawling with these vermin who are comparing themselves to you. They said, this curator said, that if they consume you, eat the blood, or eat the flesh, drink the blood, the sacrifice of an earth angel. If they consume you, this curator says that they can be just like you. So they've been sacrificing earth angels for centuries. They've been sacrificing the queen bees, these true royals, for centuries, and assuming the roles with this stupid magic illusion and rituals. There's this psycho is spying on the illuminated beloved child of the Most High Father. They're having massive regrets for leaving you alone. And because God is fed up with fake busy from these stupid, sweet-talking, I love you bullshit artists. You're free from those people who are reckless with their sex, with their sacred, source-connected essence. You're free from them. You could be feeling real nice. You're gonna be living in the moment, while Jezebel goes through some karmic ties, karmic lessons. They could be getting readings. We got the end of the illusion, or the end of illusionists. Take it as it resonates. That's bad news. That's bad news. They're trying to keep secret this bumping heads and mirroring people with this magical, reckless sex illusions. They want to keep it a secret. They want to shut you up. but it's too late for them to get the wish for a family. They're not going to get their wish. You're getting your wish for family, but it's too late for them, because this spiritual guru that's been bumping heads and downloading other people's soul value and gifts is being blocked. And they could be having mental issues, because that's what they did. They would block other people. They would run insanity through their mind while harvesting their gifts. And then they would misinterpret the gifts and then lead people astray. We're closing the cycle of these ones feeding on the intellectual property of the apple, those fruits of God's tree. And those who love to hate you are running. They're running from divine masculine, because they're not real. They're like genetic modified, whatever. They got really bad credit. They don't have any, they're not part of the lion or the jaguar family. They don't belong in this family, so it's goodbye. Because we're married and they didn't want strings attached. And we've got legal matters with these twin flames over how they've been abusing stolen and siphoned spiritual gifts, using their energy and identity to F with people in the world. They got a big debt to pay, this jackass. You know, the true colors are seen. You are prayerful, connected to source, the creators of all things, and these religious folks are trying to convince people that you're a demon or that you have a demon attached to you, when it's God and the Most High God protecting you, walking with you. They're feeling like shit. Of course they miss you. They're under pressure and losing sleep because they've lost you and your love. So you got these people with a toxic lifestyle sending love messages. They're out there drinking to cope because they were backstabbing people with this workplace affair. Playing mind games, getting into their energy. Shocking news. You're turning your back. You're turning your back on those people who are happily single but doing love spells on everybody to cornholio or just reckless sex everybody. They're not happy because they're getting a whole bunch of karma for marrying and then trapping people in this cycle. How they dealt with romance. They're heartbroken because they're being rejected. It's like, absolutely the F not. You're going to have to stay out of the territory of divine families and the children. Because this is sick, man. It's a sickness. They've got a mental sickness, or they got some kind of a personality disorder. I mean, this isn't what we do as divine beings. And they've been masquerading in the energy of divine beings, but they're absolutely not. They've been masquerading in the energy of a divine being. They've been side hustling that energy. We've got multiple people walking around in that energy, making the temperance angel, putting all of their shit onto the temperance angel, so they have to transmute it, and so they cover them in the blame and the shame of their side hustle. And we've been rejected for a long time because of this covering of the blame and the shame, this nastiness that Mr. Scavenger has been doing. It was their game, man. It was their mode. It was their work. It was what they did to get ahead in the world. But you are reconciled. So they're being displaced because they were committed to making certain that there be an empty nest in this clan. They were marrying into the clan and then making certain that there would be no more angels birthed in that clan. They're overwhelmed. They could be exhausted. Because even though you and your twin flame are not together in the 3D, the connection transcends space. These ones are caught in the tensions. The walls are closing in on this thug because what they've done to the apple, the fruit of God's, the apple of God's eye. They're in trouble. They've lost their earth angel. They are out of temperance. They're a scavenger of pizza girls. They're getting detached from the GPS, or they've been detaching. So they've been detaching young girls, scavenging them and their life path, and making sure that they get detached from it. And then they've been wearing a mask, masquerading in that energy and presenting themselves as though they belonged in that energy. There's no more opportunity for them. Empty room. There's no more opportunity for them to bed angels last night. There is no opportunity for them to even communicate with them. They're being completely separated from those who embody the essence of the sun. They're not prepared for the truth. They're not prepared. The truth is that they're not prepared to be in this connection or to be in this energy. They're irresponsible, and they've siphoned it and hurt people. And then they've ridiculed everybody else as having nothing when they stole everything. They were not prepared. Their wallet is empty. Their wallet is empty. They did not do any work. They siphoned it out of the wombs of young people in this stupid, reckless sex, over-sexualized bullshit. Harvesting shit. So we've got a 10 of Cups. Growth. Heart bond. Your channel is being promoted. Some arrogant person left you there. Maybe your channel is being promoted. Maybe you're telling what is going on. Mr. Arrogant wanted his way, and you're like, hey, you're the leader. You're the one that's deeply rooted in the darkness. You're the one that's a powerful steed galloping through the freaking light, right? Boom, bada boom, bada doom. So you're promoting the random thoughts. Mr. Arrogance, Mr. My Way, Mr. Pride and Ego. Mr. Pride and Ego wanted it his way, but you were the leader. You were the powerful force necessary in order for this asshole to get his way. But he didn't like your attitude. So he decided he was going to just take you out and then dress up in your energy and pretend to be you and dress up Jezebel and have her do all kinds of crazy shit as you, which broke hearts and nearly destroyed everything. The law is here. Balance is being restored. And due to the history of what these uninvited guests were doing, they're getting broken up. Now, the uninvited guest is the one who was gaining a connection with an earth angel and then doing a magic trick or some kind of ritual, an actual unaliving, and then into a different suffering state and then side hustling their energy. This is why reckless sex is so, it's so important that you don't get involved with that, because these people use it to gain money. They're prostitutes masquerading as royalty, as privilege, as leaders, as providers, as protectors. War is a freaking, it's just a ritual, man, for human sacrifice. And whenever they need a little energy, they got to go get some. So they make a reason for it. So you're resting and relaxing. You're considering what kind of seeds you're going to plant. You're planting your seeds. Your twin flame is lonely. You've learned your karmic lessons of the history. We've got left you hanging. Somebody may have left you hanging. You might have had to learn some more karmic lessons. You've learned your lessons. Maybe both of you have learned your lessons. You're getting support. You've ascended. You had to learn your lessons in the history. So now you're relaxing and recovering. Promoted, ascended. Now, your twin could have left you on red. They might have wanted it their way. They might have chose somebody else. They might have wanted to this time, but you've ascended. What? They can't take you out? What is this? Maybe these side hustlers weren't able to take you out and replace you with a copycat. So this left you on red. Like their karmic lessons, there had to be some stuff. It could be that in the previous lifetimes, this stupid driving people into addictions. Right? So this is their energy, but they were side hustling your energy. So they were kind of putting this shit into your energy. And then wearing a mask as your pure energy. This trash. They wanted you to be seen as trash. So they downloaded all this nasty stuff into you. But now there's no more opportunity to do that. They're a clown, a performer. We're not repeating the past. There's wrath here. Escape, police station, crushed by the burdens of reality, moving forward. They're getting arrested. They're in eternal regret. They miss you. There's a cool down. Of course they miss you. You were their supply. Every addict misses their supply, man. They're not getting a life of luxury because they were creating mischief for those who actually earned that privilege. You've got a celebration here. Your secret weapon. You are the secret weapon. You don't have a sex addiction. You are quietly deadly. The arsenal of the unseen is, I guess, sexual purity. Sexual purity. You know, and these guys, they thought that being innocent meant you had to be a virgin, right? That you had to be like without sin. And the thing about it is those people with the upside down perspective, they see innocence and purity as like a freshly newborn child, which would be a powerful soul that was just born. They're very close to the heavenly space, and they come in and they violate them and to death, you know, and then put them in this hellhole and then tell them they're nothing. So the secret weapon is sexual purity. And you may to them, they think that it's the child, the virgin, right? But sexual purity is abstinence. It is keeping your mind and your thoughts clear. It is keeping your actions, you know, settled and stable. You're not a blight in the world. You're not birthing chaos. Your secret weapon is very powerful, and it's called sexual purity. You may have been celibate for a long time. You may have spent many years purifying your essence. You could have gone through some fasting and whatever else you do. See, roll the dice. You're taking a leap of faith. You're the secret weapon. There's no sexual addictions. There's a celebration here. So the trickery of the contracts with divine feminine queen bees are getting, there's a breakup. So those tricksters that created contracts with divine feminine queen bees, these high vibrational, very well connected, source connected beings that had this. See, the Satan, they like to take out these queen bees because they want access to this upper space, because they want to make war with the divine masculine there. They want to make them their bitch. So they want to get up there and then do some shit, right? Mess with people. We got intuition, sixth sense. So there's a celebration because the tricksters who had contracted with divine feminine queen bees are getting broken up from her intuition. Please do what you need to do with the genders. I'm speaking on the micro, but this is macro. So the trickster is getting disconnected from the mental body and the clairs, the intuitive knowing of divine feminine queen bees. They're getting cut out. They should be going silent soon. I'm so tired of listening to this little weasel selling their merchandise throughout the cosmos. So freaking good. We got divine intervention here. Divine intervention has looked at the mystery, the illusions. Serendipity is here regarding the mystery of this snake going over and back, unaliving or sacrificing purity and then dressing up in it and coming up into the upper dimensional space as that identity, getting with divine masculines and then eventually unaliving them and replacing them with the snake, taking over this upper space. Third party entities, enemies, who were encountering people and love bombing them and then binding them. You are they could be tormented because you are reconciled and you are bringing balance. You're restoring balance and you're firm. You're not moving. It's like you're serious. You've had enough. It's been centuries of dealing with the misconduct of this trash, trying to lay their karmic shit on you all the time. And they do it, because they're big men and whatever, and they get a hold of you when you're just a little kid. Start messing with your mind. You're letting go of those. There's a letting go. Somebody needs to surrender their communications. Somebody's got to surrender their, they got to release, they got to give it up, their messaging. Look. Hope and commitment. The faith of a mustard seed. Devotion. You and your twin are devoted to each other. They might be, you're going to silence all of those forgotten people, those people that were sacrificing you in previous lifetimes or whatever. They're going silent. They're getting disconnected from the mental body, from the clairs of divine feminine queen bees. They're not supposed to have access to these clairs. They're low vibrational. They haven't done the work. They haven't earned the privilege to have access to these things. But you know how it was. We were here to help them elevate. And rather than elevate, do the work to elevate, they just used your clairs, your gifts, to bind you and then convince the world that you were unworthy of them, and then they threw you in the trash and they tried to make you stay there. They tried to keep you quiet. They didn't want you to be seen or speak or to influence the people, to alert them of what is going on here. They did their very best to destroy your communication device, which is your mind. They insist that they own the brain. And therefore, they own the spirit and the soul and all of the wealth in that temple. And the fact of the matter is that every molecule, everything that makes up this flesh suit belongs to the Mother Earth. They're all chemicals or material agents that come from the earth. Iron, whatever, all this stuff. Minerals, all this stuff that makes this. The spirit and the soul inside, that comes from the upper dimensional star nation soul tribe. That can't be possessed. So the brain and all this stuff, yeah. So there's a miracle here. Dreams are coming true. you're going to get a safe haven. Because the rose has solved the puzzle. Regarding intelligent animals mirroring you. Nearly exact duplicates, except they don't feel anything. You don't want that. So you're talented. You've been born with natural talent. And you visited the shadow, took a deep dive to investigate and to master yourself, to earn your crown. And you did. And you did. This uninvited guest who has been introducing these toxic ways is running away. Because you are the key and you've discovered the core of the problem and you're getting a reset here. They're drinking because divine timing is bringing about change. The time on that clock is 10 o'clock. Transformation for the rose. Those who've been used. You've discovered the hidden truth of the soul song of those people who had been left alone. And we're setting the sun, or the sun is going down on the history of what has occurred here. Hi, boy. Hi, boy. Yeah, baby. Hello, baby. I know, Mama got up real early. Yeah, baby. Oh. My poor boy. I got up early. He stayed in bed, but now he's up. All right, everybody. So, we got displacement. Oh, somebody is being overwhelmed. They were committed to making certain that there be no more angels born. They're being displaced. Your twin flame and you are united across distances. These Jezebels and their pimps the walls are closing in on them. This thug is in trouble. Yep, the thug and the Jezebel the walls are closing in on them because the apple, the daughter of the lion. So you could say that we've got aggression here. The apple, wisdom, death, sexuality, and joy. We've got some fierce stuff going on here. Somebody could be fierce regarding what has occurred with this apple, what this thug did to the apple. Temperance in the reverse. Somebody's, this thug is, this thug is in trouble for scavenging the flowers, the womb space of young girls, stealing or knocking them off, detaching them from their GPS. Look, there's an empty room. They will no longer be permitted to empty these beautiful, pure girls or boys' womb space. The girls' womb space. So they can't harvest out of the womb space of these flowers anymore. No more people. They're not going to be emptying the cup of the womb of these little girls. They're not going to be harvesting that portal anymore. There won't be any more 9-year little girls giving birth while 370 guys do use the child, the freshly born child with the umbilical stored still attached. They won't use it and then eat it later. That's not going to happen anymore. Fucking losers, man. Fucking losers. They were tempted by the snake. They're not prepared for the truth. They're not prepared for this reward. They did not do the work to prepare themselves for the financial gain. The snake told them that if they defiled you and trapped you, they could keep you forever and use you as a cash source, a paycheck. These lazy mofos are presenting themselves as leaders, husbands, fathers, men, guardians, guides, and they're pirates, harvesting the wombs of divine feminines rather than being a supportive protector and provider. It's just a performance, man. It's just a performance. Everybody knows. I mean, real people can see it very clearly. Ten of Cups. You got divine love because you have grown a whole bunch. We've got a heart bond here. Your channel is being promoted. Or maybe you're promoting. You got random thoughts about this selfish, stubborn, arrogant POS. You've made steady progress. You're getting your way because you're fiercely independent. Somebody's got to face it. Mr. My Way has to face it. You're getting your way because you're fiercely independent. They left you alone to deal with this on your own. You've learned your karmic lessons in the past. You're making plans for the future. Yeah, you were left alone. No closure, no contact, left on red. I don't know. It could be that your past person left you. They might not have trusted you. You might have been caught up in this shit that had been forced upon you. You might not have been able to extract yourself from that manipulation. You might have had to grow stronger and gain further abilities. So it takes time, I suppose. I mean, you have to want it bad enough and, to become it, right? And these ones, they didn't want it bad enough to become it. They just wanted it bad enough to steal it, side hustle it. Page of Pentacles, side hustling in the night, midnight gremlin, harvesting from wombs, from other people's energy. So they feel that if you're single, living in your house by yourself, they can just come take it. They can do whatever they want. They feel as though they are entitled to play with other people's energetic soul signature and mess with their identity regarding their upper dimensional Star Nation soul tribe. They're getting an ultimatum and going in prison. Or maybe they're getting an ultimatum for imprisoning the young girls, the flowers, and then side hustling them, forcing them to try to get their love up the hill and then knocking them back down over and over and over again. That was their side hustle. That was their profit system. And they didn't want these beautiful, they didn't want them attached to their GPS, to their life path, to their purpose. So they took them out and then they left them there without their needs being met. This clown had a real good time. And, it's all coming back on them. They, they're wanting to come and say, oh, but you're the only one who can help us. It's like, help yourself, man. Help your damn self. Okay? You've learned your karmic lessons. They need to go learn theirs. They need to go learn how to become self-sufficient and stop fucking around. Get serious. We're not repeating the past. We've got wrath here, and somebody is burdened, crushed by the reality of this situation. They're getting arrested. They're in eternal regret. There's a cool down here. A pause. They miss you, but you're leaving. Somebody's leaving. There's a separation happening. They got to go to prison. They're getting wrath. They could be getting wrath because you escaped. They're getting wrath. They want to escape. They're not able to. They're arrested. They're not getting your life of luxury. They're not taking the life of luxury away from Lyra again. It's over. They've been picking and pecking at the cat for a long time. The lion and the jaguar are fed up with it. This neglect. So they were causing mischief. They were not paying attention to what was important. There's a celebration here because you are the secret weapon. You're taking a leap of faith. You're taking a leap of faith. You're not a sex addict. You're not using the lower chakras, the sex energy or any of that to do this. You're the secret weapon, and it's not built on lust. It's built on upper dimensional frequency. There's a celebration here because those who were tricking divine feminines, queen bees, into marriage contracts and then side hustling their energy and their mental body are getting separated from her intuition, from her sixth sense, from her subconscious. They're getting booted out of the collective field of consciousness of the divine beings because they're childish and they're cruel, and they use these gifts that they did not earn themselves except for the grace of this connection to harm people, including the one that possessed the gifts that allowed the connection to happen. So these childish folks got to go. There's a breakup happening. They're very cruel. We got burned. They broke they did not keep the promises they made. They broke your heart. They tried to break your spirit. They burned you alive many times and left you alone. And now it's their turn to pick up the pieces. They want forgiveness, but everything that you no longer need is making room for the love that you deserve, and it's crumbling around them. This illusion that they created based on the sexual energy of one-night stands, of reckless sex, of dude, Mr. Dude gonna help me pop, she said. Forgive her. They're crushed because they're going down. This is the end. They've been found guilty of making life very hard for people. And this is the end of that. They're a weed seed. They weren't willing to settle down or be respectful or supportive. And you escaped. You escaped a long road of crap. Could be many flames escaped a long road of crap. This entanglement. They've lost you. Look, they were playing games with love. That was the secret. And now they're grieving because they have to stay away from you. They got to move far, far away from you. And they're going to go struggle in this rabbit hole. They're having anxiety because they're tired. You know, they were taking your energy and they did not see this coming. Yeah, they made your life hard. And now it's good. Now it's, I guess, the diamonds. The hard diamond on the dark side. Maybe you were not coal. You turned into this fabulous diamond. And now they're reaching out for your love, but you're leaving. They need an exit plan. They want to reach out for your love, but love is like, what the? You know all about this now. And it's like, are you kidding? Reaching out for love. They want to be covered by your blessing. They want you to love them after they've done all this scavenging and destroying. This clown. And they were so confident and so cruel and so bitter and so foul. Arrogant. Disrespectful. And it was your gifts and your energy all along that they were using to treat you so vile. They did not appreciate the beauty that you offered. God is tearing them up. They cannot connect to the earth angel. They have lost you. They were scavenging the flowers of the young girls. They were detaching them from their GPS. And now they're no longer going to be able to empty your cup because there's an empty room. There will be no people. This is the end of their opportunity to drain the womb of little girls. They cannot cord, connect, and start siphoning that because of their neglect. Some of these little girls, they're so young, man. These nasties are so vile. Just because they feel like a child, act like a child, think like a child, does not mean they're a child. They're just a full-grown man who's cruel and brutal to actual children. and they use the image of the Most High Heavenly Father to brutalize the soul of somebody they're supposed to be protecting. And why do they do that? Because there's power in that womb and they can dress up in it. The more flowers they collect, the wealthier they are, right? Self-love. You love yourself. So they were tempted by the snake to come after you for your money, but your self-love pulled you through. And you're still trying to heal. You're still trying to heal from this crap. These nasty jacks. You got total love and support here. You have grown. You have raised yourself up. You're in a heart bond. Your channel has been promoted. Or perhaps you are channeling additional information about Mr. Selfish. You're a fiercely independent leader. You're a powerful light, a powerful shadow, and they need to face the truth of it. It has set you free. What you have become has set you free. And they wanted it their way, and they just simply can't have it. Not anymore. What you have become is they cannot control. They complained last night that you're more powerful than all of the frauds who've been trying to destroy your life and take over your identity and role. They've been trying desperately to disconnect you from your GPS. This is what they've been doing to all earth angels. And then they've been dressing up in the fancy threads and calling themselves. So, look, we've got mending the connection. So it could be that you and your person, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe this person wanted it their way in the past. Or maybe your channel is being promoted about Mr. Selfish because you are this powerful female. They got to face the truth of it. You're announcing it. It could be that in, long lifetimes ago, your twin flame might have boogied out on you and left you hanging. And then you got kind of taken out, trapped in suffering. They got tired for waiting on you. Take it as it resonates. Somebody's lonely now. Somebody's lonely because you've ascended. They're lonely because there's no strings attached. They didn't want any strings attached. So there aren't any strings attached. And you've learned your lessons in the past. And they don't get to take credit for it because they didn't want strings attached. They left you alone. You did all of it on your own. And now they want to mend the connection. This page that's been, midnight gremlining everybody, side hustling, innocent people's energy. They're going to prison. They're getting an ultimatum. You did the work. You did all the work. Look, side hustling, passion. They've been sexually molesting people. Side hustling the womb of eternal life. These nasty. They've been side hustling the womb of eternal life rather than growing a family tree that will last for however. They're side hustling it. They're making a profit. They're prostituting the womb of a divine queen bee, stealing the life force out of her family tree, milking her. And they got her when she was just a little girl. Over and freaking over again. Detaching them from the GPS that they hear, scavenging them. These are not fathers. These are not men. These are not protectors. These are not guides. These are not holy. And you recognized it long, long ago. And that's why they said you have attitude, and they've been kind of trapping you here. Because divine feminine queen bee said, F you. You, what are you doing? They were prostituting everybody. And they said, oh yeah? So they unalived her and said, practice what you preach. And then they started doing the same thing to her. Well, she survived. And there's a celebration because those of trickery, these childish individuals are getting, cut the F off. Cut the F off, clown. Their pride is hurt. Their pride is hurt. They have needs. They're drinking. They're a clown. They're a mask wearer. They're being watched. We're not repeating the past. Or they're stuck in the past. And they have to deal with wrath now. The wrath that you escaped. They want to escape it. They're trying to attach themselves to the wombs of people by causing agitation to their bones in the night. It's like they're magically like doing sandpaper on the bones. Like I mentioned, it was from my waist all the way down to mid-thigh. And it was like somebody was scraping my whole bone structure with freaking sandpaper. And so, you know, what they do is they cause that spiritual agitation. And then I think they cut themselves and then they eat the pain. And then they try to make that connection with the pain of it. And then they try to siphon the loosh. Destiny. Destiny. You're leaving. You're leaving. You're moving into your destiny. You're about ready to go. These guys are getting arrested and they have to go get wrath. They're not getting your life of luxury. They neglected you and they caused a lot of mischief in your life. There's a celebration here because you're the secret weapon. You are taking a leap of faith. You don't have a sex addiction. You don't have a sex addiction with those people whose values are all about money. You're not out there selling sex. You're not out there foaming at the mouth over the opportunity to get money. I mean, this isn't, your value system is not what these people's value system is. Even though they tried to put it on you, it didn't belong to you. So there's a celebration because the tricksters who were tricking divine feminine queen bees into marriage contracts are getting broken up, cut off from her intuition, from her sixth sense, from her subconscious, because they're childish and they have not earned the right to have the privilege to be connected to such divine wisdom and gifts. They're daydreaming. These childish people are daydreaming about having the gifts that you have. You've earned them through the stability. And they feel that because they are AP people and that they like, and they crumble because it's a fucking assault to the soul. And they do it over and over and over again. And then they point at you and they get snapshots of your face. And then they send it to the Supreme Courts or whatever, those two decide who gets to keep their inheritance or who must go back through another cycle. And they try to convince them that you're unstable because they have just violated your soul again. And it takes you time to transmute the trauma of it. And while you're in transmutation stage, they're pointing, clipping pictures, making up a big long story, and then broadcasting it to the authorities. They're saying, you're unworthy, you're unworthy. But these ones are unworthy. They're in regret. They've been found unworthy because they've been violating purity and calling purity unstable and unworthy. And it's like, well, why don't we just get rid of all those folks that are violating purity? Because that certainly isn't the way to advance in the system of things. Unless you're a devil. Well, feeding. But that's all they do is they feed. Look, the chaser doesn't want to chase anymore. Everybody can see that they're a liar. They had a conversation they're unhappy with. They want forgiveness. They're hoping for forgiveness. But the truth has been revealed of what they've been doing in the shadows. These habitual patterns that they've been doing on irreplaceable, loving people. You have escaped that commitment. And they've missed their opportunity to fuck with you this cycle because they cannot separate you from your twin flame. Not this time. They're gossiping. Because they have to stay out of your space. They're not allowed to touch you. They're not allowed, they got to treat you with respect. You know? But they still F around, right? They're hurting from the damage they've caused. They're missing you. They feel in your absence. And they're overwhelmed by the shit they've done. It's all coming back to them and they're trying to run from it. They're indecisive. They don't know about these secrets. This is an unexpected outcome for little Miss Third Party Jezebel wearing big fancy clothes, and it's too late for third party enemies to do anything about it. They will, what they did to you will be done to them. And they're heartbroken because they know it's been centuries. They made mistakes. They don't have roots. They don't have fruit. They can't stabilize anything. They were sucking stability out of the divine beings and then pretending while taking big shits on their head. So we have an understanding regarding this soul tie. Maybe there is an understanding of what is happening here. And so you have been reunited with your person and in a renewed soul tie because there's an understanding of you and what is important to you and the manipulation that has been cast to try to alter people's perception. They're getting detached from your energy and they are in disagreement. They're whining. They're doing a lot of whining, but they're reminiscing about this soul contract and how fun these triangular third-party hoe-bag Jezebels thought it was to F you over. You're getting a new chapter. And they are confused because they sabotaged themselves while trying to program you with it. And now the reflections, the low-level vibratory people, are found guilty. And there's unfinished business here. There's things that need to be settled. There's wrath. They have to receive wrath. They have to carry the burden of the reality that they forced you to carry for so long. They now have to carry that burden for the length of time that you carried it. And I don't know if it'll be more intense or not. If so, then that's too bad because they didn't think they would survive what they did to you. They wouldn't. They're not prepared. They didn't prepare themselves. They were tempted by the snake and now they're having money problems because you love yourself still. They couldn't get you to hate yourself. They couldn't get you to cast yourself aside. So Queen Bee, those who tricked the divine feminine, Queen Bees, these upper dimensional high potency wombs of power, carrying the eternal life energy, are getting broken up, cut off from the sixth sense, from the upper divinity messaging, because they're childish daydreamers who just love to detach actual beings from their life path. By violating them and then scavenging everything out of them and then neglecting them and convincing the world that they're unworthy. They're a prostitute. Yeah, so that's what they do to the little girls. And then their whole lives, that's what they tell the universe they are. Look at this asshole who violated this and then spent so much effort to verbally curse and slander her. In the macro, all of the divine feminines, because the mother is in every aspect of the womb. And they violated as many as they could because they hate the fact that the eternal life that they need, because they augment themselves or they just become very vampiric. They need this life force, but they can't generate it within themselves, and they call the divine feminine their antidote. You carry the womb of power, which is the source of eternal life, and it's the portal connected to all of the Star Nation families. And these ones have been using that as a bridge and a connector to those Star Nation families of the upper dimensional space. And they've been creating havoc in that space, trying to dismantle and disrupt and destroy all of those tribes. Well, there's a breakup happening. I hope this clarifies something that you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.